Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be working on this old Stihl chainsaw. It actually belongs to my boss. I'm trying to fix it up for him. I actually took this thing apart over a year ago and rebuilt the carburetor on it, but I just had like a cheap carb kit that I got online, and the fuel pump wasn't quite the right size, so I used the old one, and it didn't work. It didn't run right, and it was just kind of finicky, and I just kind of stuck it in my shed and forgot about it. But now we're going to revisit it and see if we can fix it right. So I've actually got the Walbro kit, and we're going to try to do it again and get it right this time. Here we go. This is an old Stihl 020 AV. I'm not sure what year it is. I'd say it's pretty old because it doesn't have a safety. Just has this little chintzy guard. This one is kind of unique because the cylinder actually lays backwards and the handle is on top, whereas opposed to most chainsaws, where the cylinder points up and the handle is in the back. So that's pretty cool. And if I remember, it's just a bunch of flathead screws you have to take off to split the case to get to the carb. That sounds great. We'll hold off on that one. Oh yeah. All right. So this is actually my first YouTube video. I watch a lot of channels that I watch that are just repair videos, and my wife always makes fun of me and she says, you should start a YouTube video, you should start a YouTube channel, you'd be really good at it. And I always just kind of tell her, yeah, whatever. But lately I've been thinking about it, and I really think that it would be something that I would enjoy doing, because this is kind of what I already do anyway, just tinker with stuff. So I may as well record myself doing it and put it on YouTube, and we'll see what happens. I don't think I'm supposed to take these out. I'm just going to put that back for now. I'll come around to this side and see what I can do over here. like I said, I've had this apart before, but it was a long time ago, and I don't exactly remember where every screw is, so we'll find out together how this thing comes apart. Should be about the last bit of hardware before we can split the case. This is an interesting saw because the carburetor is inside of the case. And you have to split the case in half just to be able to get to it and work on it. Which is kind of annoying. But I think this should be it. There we go. Get the handle out of the way. That'll be good. I'm going to take all that off. Let's see. Get it out without removing the handle. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'm going to keep trying because I'm stubborn. There we go. There we go. Bunch of sawdust in there. There's an on-off switch. Which just, oh, that's just your choke. Alright, pull cord. There's that. Alright. Now then. Here is the carb. You see that little nipple right there. So it actually goes, the fuel tank is in this half of the case. When you put the two halves together, that little nipple barb just kind of slips into that little grommet right there, and that goes directly into the fuel tank. There's no fuel line from the tank to the carb, which is another interesting thing about this saw. The only fuel line is right here, and this is just your pulse for your fuel pump. Let's see if we can get this fuel line off of here without damaging it. off with some pliers. There we go. Okay, now I think the only thing, there's a little intake boot right here. That's actually what holds the carb to the engine. Be very careful, I don't want to tear this boot. I'm wondering if I could leave that on there and disassemble the carburetor without taking this flywheel off. I don't really want to take the flywheel off if I don't have to. Let's just see. There we go. Try to get this linkage unhooked. Come on now. There we go. Get this linkage off without bending it, it'd be great. There we go. Get that out of the way. We can focus on this carburetor. This is a Walbro. I don't remember the model that this one is, but it is on here somewhere. Anyway, Walbro carb. And like I said, when I first took this apart, I just bought a cheap kit online. And everything looked good except for the fuel pump. It didn't exactly, wasn't the right size. It didn't fit exactly right. I didn't feel good about it, so I went back with the original fuel pump, hoping that it would work, and it did not. So I'm hoping that I can rebuild this carburetor again, and I'll have better luck getting it running. I'm going to completely disassemble this carb and clean it too, because I'm sure that it is set up and the fuel has gone bad. I did drain the fuel out before I started this video, and it still smelled good. So I might get lucky. And it really not be that dirty, but we're going to clean it anyway. Now, if you're watching this as an instructional video so that you can fix your chainsaw, I do apologize. I don't mean this as an instructional video. It's more so like, let's see if we can take it apart and fix it. See a bunch of crap right here in the screen. So we'll have to clean that out. I'm going to take out these mixture screws. Oh, it's got some crap in it. I am going to keep these. I'm going to separate these by the side that I'm taking them out of. They may be the same, they may not be. They appear to be the same size. No, they're not. One is much shorter. Okay, and the hole is smaller. The threads are smaller. Completely different. Okay, cool. Alright, now then. Take this little plate off. And under here should be the fuel pump. Pocket screwdriver. Yeah, you can tell how hard this is compared to the rest of the kit. There's a gasket there too, but you can see it's kind of stiff, whereas it should be nice and soft. Let's open up this other kit and I'll show you. This looks like a pretty universal kit. I see a lot of gaskets and stuff that don't necessarily go to this particular carburetor. Now you can see how soft and pliable that is compared to this old one. It's kind of stiff. So that will affect, that is your fuel pump. So that will affect how well it runs, or if it runs at all. So I'm going to take the needle and seat out. Be very careful not to lose any of this. There's a spring in here. There's the needle. Okay. Not exactly sure what this is. We're going to take it off just to inspect it. Some kind of plug or something. Oh, it's the shaft. Okay. Let's put that back on. Okay, I see some dirt down here too. Pretty dirty. Oh yeah. There we go. Put your crap down in there. On the screen. Alright. Let's see. Now I'm just going to take some brake cleaner and try to clean this thing out and blow through the passages and all that good stuff. I don't know if you could see it before, but a little blast. It took all that trash out. Do the same over here. Alright. Alright. That one sprayed me right in the stomach. I'm going to call that good. This carb looks, this doesn't look like the original carb, or it's just really clean. But to me, it looks like someone has replaced it before. So I'm going to call that good. Alright, now, let's see. I'm going to compare our old needle There's a rubber tip compared to our new one. They look the same to me. See if we can drop that in there. Very good. This is a pretty complete kit. It has pretty much everything that we need, except for I don't see a spring, so we'll have to reuse the spring. Hopefully we can get this back together because they are kind of a pain in the butt. It's like defusing a bomb. Trying to get this back together. You have to hook the needle on here. Get the spring on the other side. And then get them both to fall into place. Hold it all down. Yeah. This part is very tedious. Kind of hesitant about taking the needle out because of this, but it needed to come out so I could make sure it was clean and make sure that the needle was still good, and it looked like it had some wear, so we're just going to go ahead and replace it. This is usually the part that takes me the longest because it is so tedious. Let's see if I can hold it with this. Do you have any better luck? Not at all. Okay. Ah. Ah. This part can be very frustrating. This is a good test of patience. Oh, I almost had it. It was almost dead. I'm not Stihl. Oh. There we go. Now if I can get my screw in there, we'll be doing great. I don't think that's the right screw. Is it? Where is... Oh, it is. I'm trying to do this with my right hand. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm left-handed. So this is kind of difficult. See if I can swap. we go. Now then, let's put the fuel pump in on the correct gaskets. Okay. Now, when you go back together, you have to pay attention to the orientation. Basically, you have to make sure that you don't want the gasket to be on the wrong side of the diaphragm. Because that is important. If you get it backwards, it will not run correctly. You'll never be able to tune it. And you'll just be banging your head against the wall, trying to figure out what you did. Alright. There we go. Now then, the diaphragm, the middle of this diaphragm sits against the valve for the needle. So you have to make sure that it's facing down. And you want to put your gasket on first, then your diaphragm, and then your plate. Not that one. This one. You want to make sure these are tight, but you don't want to over tighten them. Because you could warp this plate and you wouldn't have a good seal, and that would be bad. Alright, there we go. Flip it over. Go ahead and put this one back on. Let's see. There's some dirt in here. Scrape that out. Spray it. There we go. doesn't fit very well. Let's see if there's another one. Okay. That's actually the correct one. I had the wrong one. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this back together. I'm no expert at this, so just bear with me. I am a mechanic by trade, and I just like to tinker with things, like chainsaws, or lawnmowers, or weed eaters, or anything with a small engine. So I just like to take things apart and see what makes them work. Let's see if I can fix them. All right. Let's see if we can get this back together. See if we can get it back together without destroying anything. That's the real goal. I was hoping that I could get it started on the studs before I hooked up throttle linkage, but I don't think I'm going to get that lucky. So there we go. Wow. The unfortunate thing about this saw is that you have to completely assemble it before you can test it. So if there's an issue, you have to take it all the way back apart and see what you did wrong. But hopefully it'll work out for us. We won't have any issues. Let's see if we can get this case back together and get our fuel line, or this barb, to line up with the grommet in the fuel tank. Theoretically, as long as it's in line and you get the two studs to go through the case, then the barb should line up with the fuel tank. Unfortunately, there's not a good way to see in there to see if you're lined up. I don't have my flashlight. So we just gotta hope we got it. There we go. This is a neat little chainsaw. I've never really seen too many where the cylinder actually lays back instead of standing up. I thought that was pretty cool. And it's a smaller chainsaw, so this would be good for like trimming limbs off of the tree in your yard, or something like that. This isn't really made for taking down big stuff. It's really just for small stuff. Before I tighten all of my screws, I want to make sure I get them all started first. And then I'll go back around and tighten them. Got all the screws for the case in. I'll go ahead and tighten them down. and go back together. Doesn't seem right. Seems like an awfully big gap, but it appears to be correct. There we go. Come on now. Feels like it. There we go. All right. And just the one Phillips head wood screw that someone put in there. And of course I dropped it. All right. Dump some fuel in it. See if we can't get it to fire off. Hopefully we can get it running and get it tuned. I hate these fuel cans. It's the worst thing that the government has ever done. Is regulate a fuel can. Alright, that should be enough. Choke it. This is the switch. Let's see if we can't get it to fire off. It's got good compression. It wants to. It's trying. Hmm. See if we can hold the throttle and get it to fire off. It may be flooded. No, it's trying. There we go. Getting close. Right now I'm trying to adjust the high and low screws. You're supposed to be able to, at an idle, adjust the low screw in and out. So you start to feel it breaking up, and then you try to find a happy medium. And now it's not going at all. Awesome. Pretty good right there. See if it'll start back up. like that. I'll let it back up just a bit. Seems pretty good. Let's put the bar and the chain back on it. Let's see how it does. This edge of the bar has some wear, so I'm going to put it at the top. There. That muffler's hot. Now this saw belongs to my boss, and it was his father's saw, and he's not really concerned about getting it perfect. It's not really something that he's going to use practically. It was just sentimental. His father passed away a few years ago, and he just kind of wants to get it running and just keep it alive. So let's see how it does with the bar and the chain on it. Wants to break up and die on me. That's great. So let's see. Make it a little richer. Actually, no. Lean it out a little bit because I did put the air filter back on, so it's not getting as much air. Lean it out a little bit. Too much. like the high side. There you go. All right. There you have it, folks. I'm going to open my garage up because it is smoky in here. Bye-bye.